So step 4 is starting to come up with some actual solutions, right? And the way you do it is you start with level 1 causes of failure, or basically just starting at the top of this list and moving down. So in my case, I only have a couple things in level 1. Really, I have one thing, lack of attention, um, in level 1. So if I'm looking at that, then I don't have to talk about lack of effort because that wasn't a problem. I'm going to start straight at lack of attention. If I didn't have that, if I only had the stuff that was in level 3, then I'd actually just kind of move down in order from top to bottom until I hit something that I had, in which case would be lack of communication is what I would start with. For me, though, lack of attention is here. There are a lot of skip steps from what I wrote down to what happened, so that was not attention to detail. It could have been because people were being disrupted or distracted. It could have been a communication issue, right? So to find out, I'd have to ask questions and ask them, okay, what was going on? Did you do this on purpose or not? Before I jumped over here to the problem-solving step and answer these questions. So it turns out it wasn't disruptions or distractions that caused the problem. It was communication. So I'd actually then say, oh, okay, and just jump down here and again solve the next thing in line, which in my case, if you look at it, right, lack of attention, then it's not time, ability. It comes to lack of attention or communication. So basically, things weren't lining up. So key people involved did not have all the information necessary and made mistakes based on this lack of information, right? So it wasn't getting communicated. So now I need to focus on culture. How can I increase how often people are in the same room or space? How can you help people feel more comfortable communicating information? How can you help people listen better and take each other more seriously? So all this is how do we figure out ways to get the communication there? So I would work on these. I'd answer these questions. So in this case, we started having more regular meetings. We actually had daily meetings when we just checked up with each other and talked about what was going on, went over the documents together more often. How can you help people feel more comfortable communicating information? Some of it was just the relationship. By interacting with each other more often and talking more often, it was easier just for me to be like, oh, hey, you're missing this step, without it feeling like a big deal. And then how can you help people listen better and take each other more seriously? It wasn't about listening as much as I needed to communicate better. So what I actually ended up doing was starting to make little prototypes. I taught myself to code to give them a visual example of what it should look like. All right. So I've come up with all these solutions, use these culture questions to help me, and that is the end of step 4, which means I'm ready to move on and start solving some other problems.